it. So if you live along Florida Highway 485 to the east of downtown Brooksville, between 75 and downtown Brooksville, you're in it. Ridge Manor, you're in it. This includes portions of 301 in Hernando County. If you've got a Hernando County address along 301, you are under this tornado warning. It's just north of downtown Lacucci, and that stretch of 75 through all of Hernando County into southwestern Sumter County is also included. A little sliver of it there in Pasco County. This is just about to exit that area. So if you know anyone that's traveling north on 75 into this region, they are going to be running into some pretty strong weather over the next hour or so. The movement on this is toward the north and northeast. Let me redo that track there one more time for you. If not, we'll use the computer. Well, there he goes. Let me step over here and use the computer. It's going to be a little bit better, a little easier to draw than the touchscreen. So motion on this is going to be toward the northeast. It's moving at about 30-35 miles an hour. So these are some communities that are in the path of this storm. Spring Lake, the Rydell community, Ridge Manor, and Raredale as well at 11:44, the arrival time for that storm. I want to put this into motion for you, show you exactly how it's been moving over the last hour. A lot of heavy rain with this, so this is not going to be the type of tornado, if there is one developing, that you will be able to see very easily. This is going to be wrapped up in a lot of rain, some lightning and thunder with this, and the rain here is really coming down at just some incredible speed amounts, 1 to 2 inches per hour in some of these areas. So you'll be dealing with ponding on the roadways and I-75, 485. If you've got travel plans out of Brooksville to take you over to 75 right now, I would wait until this warning is over. It lasts until 11:30 this morning. There's a look at the wind data in the storm. I'm going to take the lightning out of here. There's so much lightning with this, it's almost hard to see. So what you're looking for is this bright red area here and then the darker greens back to the south and west. This indicates an area of rotation in the storm. It's coming up on the Spring Lake community. Ridge Manor, I-75, and then US 98 are next. If you live near the intersection of 98 and 75, this is headed right in your direction. I would say, just based on this radar representation, that the main area of circulation is now out of Pasco County. So if you live in Wesley Chapel, Zephyr Hills, Newport Richey, Hudson, Holiday, you're looking at your phone and you're saying, hey, there's a tornado warning for Pasco County. It does not include any of those communities. And in fact, the tornadic part of the storm, where a brief tornado may develop, has already moved out of Pasco County. This is now entirely in Hernando County, and it's going to continue to move toward 98. I've been watching this for the last several minutes. In fact, it's been spinning up here around the county line of Pasco and Hernando County over the last 30 minutes or so, becoming more intense. And now the National Weather Service looking at it, thinking, okay, there's enough circulation here to probably warrant that tornado warning. The yellow box outside of this is a severe thunderstorm warning. That continues for a larger area. Let me show you a wider view here of what's going on. So let's switch back to the regular radar so you can see exactly what we're looking at. Lots of heavy rain with this, just a huge line of storms moving through this morning. This is the same storm system we've been tracking for the last several days, moving through the lower Mississippi River Valley, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. It's produced severe weather along its entire path. And although the threat here in central Florida is weaker than it was yesterday up across northwest Florida and the southern Mississippi River Valley, there is enough spin in the atmosphere to produce some of these stronger storms. The severe thunderstorm warning does extend along through Pasco County into portions of Hillsborough and even Pinellas County as well. So even if you're not near the area where there may be a brief spin-up tornado in Hernando County near Spring Lake, you could still easily get wind gusts with this system up to 60 miles an hour. And those would be wind gusts that are strong enough to do some damage. This could be down towards Palm Harbor, over towards Holiday, Keystone, Lando Lakes, Lutz, Wesley Chapel, Bayonet Point, Hudson, Newport Richey. All of you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. It extends through all the islands. That includes Honeymoon, Caladesi, Anclote, and down towards Clearwater Beach as well. It stops just north of downtown Clearwater and extends as far south as Courtney Campbell and Highway 60 in the northern part of the bay. So Old Tampa Road, West Chase, Town and Country, Carrollwood, Northdale, all under this severe thunderstorm warning. The storms here moving in from the west at about 35 miles an hour. You're going to get a lot of lightning. Thunder, obviously, it's going to be frequent. This kind of sounds like a really strong summer thunderstorm. And for the majority of you, it's just going to pass with that. You're going to get a lot of the lightning and thunder, a lot of heavy rain, but you're not going to get severe weather. I think the severe weather is going to be very isolated and only in isolated places where the winds get a little bit stronger. So here's another look at that tornado warning. Let's get a little closer in on that box. Let's look at the wind data to look at what's going on inside of the storm. Let me get that lightning off of there as well, kind of clean this up to make it a little bit clearer. There's still a broad circulation. I would say, just looking at this, may not be as tight, as bright, the bright red next to the green, as it was in the last radar scan. This is what makes these Florida storms very tricky. These tornadoes, if you've lived here long enough along these cold fronts, they'll spin up for 5-10 minutes at a time and then quickly spin down. So if you're close enough to it, you may get some strong winds. Typically, these are weaker storms. They're not the type of storms that we'll see to the north and west of us, up across Louisiana, Arkansas, Texas, and Oklahoma, that kind of thing. These are smaller, short-lived tornadoes, and the tricky part is you can't see them. This one's wrapped up in some very heavy rain in this storm as it continues north and east. Let's do another track on this. Now that we have a new position on the area of circulation, we can gauge a new path for this storm. I'm going to update the speed here on my tracking system. Let's track it at 35 miles an hour. I'm going to put this thing very close to the Spring Lake community right now. Let's take it past the warning to the north and east. So let's assume it's going to hold together as it moves through all of Hernando County east of Brooksville. And there you see some of the locations that could be impacted. The first, Spring Lake, that's about now. It's now 11:06, so it's over Spring Lake now. And it could last all the way through the St. Catherine community. That would be in Sumter County. Along with this, the rainfall, 1 to 2 inches per hour. If you're traveling on 98 or 75, this is easily going to lead to some ponding on our roadways here. So you're going to need to slow down. Definitely drop below the speed limit. There you see some of the cameras in this area. This is I-75 at mile marker 305, just about. This is near Ridge Manor. And you see very heavy rain falling, as you would expect with this. As it continues to move east, we may see the wind pick up. Let's watch this shot for a few minutes. It's still, I would say, probably a couple of minutes away from this area. You will see the visibility drop. There may be a really increase in the intensity of the rain. Probably going to be really hard to see rotation here if it does move over the interstate, and that's because of all the heavy rain. You don't really get a clear funnel in this kind of situation. There you see the lightning. Even the FDOT camera, they are picking it up. Again, this is I-75 in Hernando County near Ridge Manor. This area, frequent travel spot. A lot of folks here out of Brooksville heading over to 75 to head down to Tampa, or you head north to go up towards Ocala or into Sumter County. Heavy rain right now. What makes this area tricky as well is if you've ever driven through it, it's pretty hilly. It's surprising coming north out of Tampa. You suddenly see hit some hills. There are some turns here, and that's going to make the roadway extra slick. So if you are planning on traveling, I would wait here for the next 30 minutes, maybe even 45. Even if this area of circulation moves out of the region, we're still going to be dealing with rain here for at least 30 to 45 minutes, if not longer, and that's going to make the thoroughways pretty wet. 301 is also in the path of this, so once it gets past 75, Highway 301 would be next. It moves through a very small sliver here of eastern portions of Hernando County. 301 and 98, 75 and 98, all impacted by this. New scan therein just came in from the radar. Let's update you on the position. Let me actually show you. We can animate this, the last couple of radar scans, and you notice it was very bright. The reds there, very bright over the last couple of scans. We've lost a lot of the intensity in the color here. That's good news. I think if there was a brief tornado there, it's probably already gone. Just looking at the radar representation, I think we're probably losing it pretty quickly. But just in case, if you're along 98, 75, and 301, eastern Hernando County, tornado warning continues until 11:30. If there is a tornado in your area, the safest place to be is inside and in a a room that's as far away from windows as possible. Try to go to the lowest floor of your home and into the center of that lowest floor. Typically, a hallway, a large closet, maybe a small bathroom located in the middle of the home. That would be the safest place. You want to put as many walls between you and the storm outside as possible, and you definitely don't want to be in a room that has lots of windows. Not just because of a tornado. We may not get a tornado out of this, but we may get a wind gust to 50 or 60 miles an hour. That could easily break a tree branch or pick up some loose lawn furniture outside. Throw it, launch it at the window, break the glass, and then if you'd be standing or hiding near it, you could get hurt. I actually don't think there's a tornado in here anymore, just looking at the radar scan here. Let's take the warning out of this just to be sure. I definitely think there's some wind, that's for sure. And we can actually look into this storm and click on some of these brighter spots. And you see the radar. Now, this is not near the ground. This is a couple of thousand feet up. Is definitely picking up some stronger winds in this system. And I think this is what most of you are going to see. You're going to see wind gusts of 50, maybe 55 miles an hour at times as this moves by, with most of you not seeing the actual tornado. I actually don't think there's probably a tornado in this system anymore. I think we're just dealing with heavy rain and likely wind gusts of 45 to maybe as high as 50 miles per hour. The radar picture in terms of the rainfall for this area, let's switch to that. You see a lot of oranges and reds here, lots of lightning too. This is a very loud storm. If you're at home, maybe watching this late morning, you're definitely hearing the rain and the constant lightning. Just in this area here, you're looking at dozens of lightning strikes. 125 just in this small box between 75 and Highway 589. So that's going to be the Suncoast here. So between the Suncoast and 75, in the last 15 minutes, 126 lightning strikes. That's a lot. That is constant lightning, and the thunder is out there as well. Let me show you the wider view for those of you not in Hernando County and watching from this area. Here's what's to come. Notice the lightning is prolific with this. There's just a lot of it, and it really extends all the way into the northern half of Pinellas County, and then there are additional storms down to the south and west. As you put this into motion, you see everything is heading toward the coast. We talked about this all morning. Prime time for the worst weather today, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And that certainly seems to be the way this is working out. The strongest storms now clearing Citrus County. So Citrus County, you're done. You're going to be done with these storms in Brooksville in the next few minutes. And I think by noon, much of Hernando County will start to clear out as well. Once the rain departs, you're done with the severe weather. You'll notice the winds turn out of the north. You'll notice the humidity start to drop. And you'll notice the temperatures dropping too. I think most of us are going to be down in the 60s by this evening, and with the drier air, it's going to feel significantly cooler as we go into the afternoon. Let's get a little closer here on the area. The tornado warning continues until 11:30. I think that storm is winding down. I don't actually think there's going to be a tornado threat with it anymore. But Wesley Chapel, Newport Richey, wow, the lightning is intense. The Keystone area, Hudson, Elfers, down towards Tarpon Springs, Palm Harbor, Dunedin, now coming in off the Gulf. A little pop of lightning heading right across East Lake over toward, looks like Safety Harbor and Oldsmar. The rain's just picking up in the Oldsmar area coming out of East Lake and Safety Harbor, and it is really heavily impacting northwestern Hillsborough County with very heavy rain across the Vets up towards 41. You're definitely seeing the heavy rain now spreading over towards 275. Got another camera to show you. This is over towards Clearwater. It's pointed towards the beach, and you see the rain here. It's really coming down in bucketfuls. Very heavy thunderstorm in this area at this moment. I'm going to get a closer radar view as we look at that right there. A lot of wind. The surf is up. It's an onshore wind. Makes the water very dangerous. Please be careful out there as you stay in the area. Just checking in with the Weather Service, see if they are updating us on anything here. They are getting some strong wind reports. Looks like in St. Pete. East of St. Pete and near Palmetto, they're getting wind gusts to 40 miles an hour. Those are outside of any thunderstorms, but there are no reports of an actual tornado with this storm right now. So that's certainly good news. They have not canceled that warning. Those flashes there, the bars there you see on the camera, that was lightning that the camera is detecting in the region. Looking at the winds inside of these storms, love to do that just to see if there's any spin ups. Nothing here that looks to me like it would be spinning up anytime soon. There's definitely some stronger winds moving into Palm Harbor, Dunedin, and Tarpon Springs, but I'm not seeing that as any kind of rotation. Farther south, southern Pinellas County is just a light rain, but you can hear the thunder off to the north, and it is going to be moving into St. Pete, over toward Treasure Island, downtown Clearwater, all the way through the beaches, St. Pete Beach down towards Fort DeSoto and Egmont, probably in the next hour or so. Tampa, you're seeing mainly light to moderate rain over towards Thonotosassa, Seffner, looks like Temple Terrace up towards New Tampa, with the heaviest rain on the northwest side of town. It's just north of the airport. As you get up the vets towards Dale Mabry, you really start to pick up that rain very heavily. The Dale Mabry exit there off the vets, it is pouring right now in northern Hillsborough County up through Lutz and Lando Lakes and the Pebble Creek community. Check out the Rivergate Tower, great shot there. And you guys, if you want to pan that left and right, definitely you can do that. Both directions are fine. Let's kind of look around. It's best to just see what's going on out there. We've got control over this camera. We're looking now towards the south across Bayshore down into the bay. You see breaks of sunshine. So if you are in places like Riverview, Brandon, Apollo Beach, it may be looking bright at times, while to the west, southwest and northwest, you see the clouds darken quite a bit. And you can see how on the horizon it looks like the city just kind of disappears. That's where the heaviest of the rain is. And it is working its way toward the camera. So it is slowly working its way in our direction right now. And we'll see that rain pick up in Tampa here over the next 20 to 30 minutes. Light rain now moving into Lakeland over towards I-4 and the Polk Parkway. Zephyr Hills, it's light to moderate rain. And again, there is that tornado warning. It is basically now for Hernando County. I know there's a sliver of Pasco in here, but the severe part of the storm, the part that could have produced a brief tornado, is completely out of Pasco County already. Back to the wind data here. You know, there's still some strong wind energy here. I would say if there was the possibility of seeing a brief spin-up tornado, maybe somewhere in this area. So Ridge Manor, if we can pull up I-75 at Ridge Manor. Guys, I know you had that camera earlier. That's not a bad one. And then maybe one or two cameras south of there as well, working your way back towards Lacucci. So 301 over towards 98 is the area I'm watching. So there's a look at 75 in this region. See, the rain is really coming down as the cars are driving by. Lots of spray coming in off the road. You want to use your low beams in a situation like this, and you definitely want to maximize the distance between you and the car in front of you. So this was that Ridge Manor area, I believe. This is I-75, just about mile marker 305. And looking at the radar, if there are some strong winds, it's between that camera probably and down towards the Pasco County line. So Lacucci to Ridge Manor right now is where I think the worst of it is moving through. There's also a little pocket of strong winds up towards 98 and 75. That's moving into southern Sumter County. I don't see anything here too intense that would indicate that there is a tornado trying to develop again. If there is one, it would be on the weak side, probably a quick spin up, but we definitely may be seeing some very strong winds in this area. Severe thunderstorm warning, by the way, continues in the yellow. That's outside of this tornado warning until 11:30 as well. So both of these warnings are now up until 11:30. There's the motion on this, and you can kind of see this bright pop of color right there. I think it's taken more of an easterly path, a more east path than the Weather Service there was anticipating with that warning. The warning has it going more northeast. I think it's tracking a little bit more east. So it's definitely going to go through the entire section here, that eastern end of Hernando County. There's the Clay Sink community, Rich Loam, you're next in this, Ridge Manor, and really anyone here that lives along 98 or Florida Highway 50 all the way back towards 471. So 75 to 301 right now, then back towards 471 in eastern Hernando, and then working your way back into Sumter County. That's where you're watching for maybe some a brief spin up or some strong winds. 471 here by the way, makes the eastern extent of Hernando County. The county line here for a while runs along 471 from Clay Sink north for a couple of miles. So Clay Sink, Rich Loam, the Ridge Manor community, this is where I think we're dealing with at least a potential for a quick spin-up storm. Lots of lightning with this too. That definitely tells me that whatever is here, the storm that is here, it's not weakening very quickly. Typically what you would see is as the lightning dies down, the storm then starts to weaken a little bit. I don't think we're seeing that here just yet. Let's take a look at the wider view. I'm looking at the Weather Service. All right, good news. The Weather Service is looking at this along with me, and they agree that the tornado threat for that storm is now done. So they have canceled the tornado warning early. So the tornado warning that was earlier up for Pasco, Hernando, and portions of Sumter County has now been canceled. We are still looking at a large severe thunderstorm warning, really from Brooksville, Wesley Chapel, all the way back down towards the Tampa area. And these storms continue to move through Tampa Bay, downtown Tampa, Lake Magdalene, Carrollwood, Thenoto, Sassa, Temple Terrace. It's about to get stormy with the storms spreading from the Gulf of Mexico over the next several hours. If you're not already following me on social media, at Greg D. Weather on Twitter, at Greg D. Weather in my Instagram stories, and check out my Facebook page as well. I'll be posting updates, and of course, we'll be back here with you throughout the day if additional tornado warnings are issued. Keep it here to ABC Action News, and if you want to take us with you, make sure you download the ABC Action News app on your phone. You can watch these updates live no matter where you are in the Bay Area. Stay safe, everybody.
Early. We got Avatar moved back for some breathing room. Life is good.